morning, students, parents, teachers, and our honored guests, our veterans. We are delighted to have everyone here today and would like to welcome you to West Hardin Middle School for our Veterans Day celebration today. Students, we remind you that there is to be no cell phone recording of today's assembly. However, there will be pictures on Facebook for you to enjoy later. Will everyone please stand for the presentation of the colors and then remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. We will now hear from the choir, who will sing our national anthem. Please stand. I regret that Mr. Lawson couldn't be here to give his opening remarks, so I will be giving those in his place. We have a special program for you today, and a lot of work goes into an event like this to make it special. So first, let me say thank you to our color guard. That is American Legion number 113. They did a wonderful job, didn't they? I would also like to thank Ms. Benningfield and the choir for their willingness to participate today. They sound great, and we'll get a chance to hear from them again later. but most importantly, I would like to thank you, our veterans. When Francis Scott Key wrote the Star-Spangled Banner almost 200 years ago, he called America the land of the free and the home of the brave. These words are as true today as they were then. Throughout this nation's history, America's soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen have bravely answered the call to defend our freedom, to aid our friends and allies, and to turn back aggressors. We can never fully repay our debt of gratitude to the more than 650,000 American service members who died in battle, or the 1.4 million who were wounded. We can, however, recognize and thank the 25 million veterans still living today. These words are inscribed on the Korean War Memorial in Washington, D.C. Our nation honors her sons and daughters who answered the call to defend a country they never knew and a people they never met. Those words apply equally to many of our World War I, World War II, Vietnam War, and Gulf War veterans as well. They apply to today's active duty service members, tomorrow's veterans, who are helping to maintain peace throughout the world. Today, it is our privilege to say thank you to all of America's veterans, to let them know that we appreciate them for their service and honor them for their sacrifices. The price of freedom is high. We cannot afford to forget those willing to pay it. Today, we celebrate America's veterans for keeping this nation the land of the free and the home of the brave.
this time, we would like to recognize the veterans we have in attendance today. And in doing so, I'm going to remember my father, who is 97 years old, who was a veteran of World War II, who's still living. We ask that you hold your applause until we have announced everyone. Veterans, please stand and remain standing when we call your branch of service. The Army. If you served in the Army. If you served in the Navy. The Air Force. The Marines. The Coast Guard. Reserves, the National Guards. Please join me in showing our gratitude to their servicemen and women with a round of applause. Thank you. You may be seated.
It is my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker today. I'm really excited. Major Khan has been in the Army for 18 years. He has served in Operation Desert Spring, which provided a presence in Kuwait. He also served in Operation Iraqi Freedom 1 and 8. He served in Operation New Dawn in Iraq and Afghanistan, and he was stationed in South Korea for 2 years. He is currently the medical planner for ROTC Annual Cadet Summer Training at Fort Knox, and his father joins him today and says that that is a cushy job. With all of that, his greatest accomplishment is his family. He has been married to his wife, Jeanette, for the last 18 years, and they have 3 great kids. Please welcome Major Christopher Khan.
Well, thank you. Can you hear me? I almost can talk without the microphone usually. I appreciated Ms. Cassidy reaching out to me about a month ago, maybe 3 weeks ago or so, and asked me to share a few words with you. Being around a group of veterans, I'm not necessarily the most qualified to speak to you. I do like talking, so maybe that's why I was asked to be able to give this small words of encouragement. One of my favorite stories that I could share with you on Veterans Day is understanding the difference between Veterans Day and Memorial Day. A number of years ago, about 2 years ago, I was contacted by the Los Angeles Dodgers, which I'm still in mourning from the last World Series a couple weeks ago. I'm still mourning that loss. So please, you can have a moment of silence for the LA Dodgers. You can do that. They contacted me and asked me to be honored as the military hero of the game. They contacted me early in February of 2015, and without thinking, they asked me to be the military honoree. Not paying attention to the date, just looking and make sure I was in graduate school, that I didn't have class that day. I showed up, and about a week before, I realized that it was actually a Memorial Day. And that was the day that I came into a conflict where I felt like I shouldn't be honored that day. That was the day that I should be honored, the many men and women that I've served with that have lost their life. And I was confused. I was very in a mental conflict of not wanting to stand up in front of a 50,000 men and women standing, giving me a standing ovation, because it's not a day to honor me. It's a day to honor the people that have paid the ultimate sacrifice for this wonderful country. And so I told Ms. Cassidy I wanted to share that story with you, is that you understand this is a day. Tomorrow's a great day to be able to honor those that have served and are currently serving, that are alive on this earth today. And the next time Memorial Day comes around, to honor it the correct way for those that have passed their lives. So when the chance came for me to be able to wave to the crowd, which everybody wants, right? Who doesn't want 50,000 people cheering for you, right? It's a great photo op. I had my hair combed nicely. But I realized that the way that I could teach everyone a wonderful lesson is that inside my pocket I held a photo of the 8 soldiers that died with me as our initial invasion of the country of Iraq, that died on the battlefield fighting alongside me. And it was a chance to be able to inspire everybody. So the cameraman took the key from me and just, in the stadium, it just showed the photo of the 9 helmets sitting on top of a rifle. And it taught everybody what Memorial Day was about. And I passed that opportunity along for me to be honored. And so today I take that as a great honor to be able to educate all of you as young men and young women that you understand the difference between the 2 days. Today is a great day to reach out to those that serve and be able to say thank you. It's a great day to go beyond that and be able to learn a little bit about them, about the many hours they spent without their family members by their side. Many opportunities you can learn a little bit about their lives, the things they put on hold, the things that they've sacrificed, the nights without very little sleep. But you can ask any veteran, they've experienced that all. It doesn't matter the branch of service. Everybody's learned that you can operate a lot longer than you think with very little sleep or if no sleep. The many birthdays, the many anniversaries, the many birth of children that we've all missed. I think my wife and I have been married for 18 years. I think I've only made half of our anniversaries. And like my father said, this is probably the cushiest job I've had is working here at Fort Knox. I will give great credit to the military for granting me the ability to obtain a bachelor's degree, a graduate degree, with no student debt. And that came from a lot of sacrifice, missing a lot of birthdays, a lot of different anniversaries. But in turn, it made me a better person. It made me a person to be able that falls on my knees every morning, and thanks to my Father in heaven, makes me kiss my wife every morning, hold the hand of my children and hug them tighter every day. It made me a better civilian. It made me a better soldier in the military. In closing, I'd just like to share with you my inspiration to you to what can I do to support veterans? What can I do to support the military? And in all honesty, the greatest thing you can do is to be the great civilian that you can be. To be kind to people to your left and to your right. To be a better civilian as you get older. To participate in voting. To participate in your local civic duties. To do the little things that make the United States of America a better country. That's how you say thank you to a veteran. To not only just wave a flag on the holidays, but to walk in when you get to that age, walk into the voting booth and do a great service and vote for the correct person that's trying to make the country a better place. You do those types of things, and that's how you think a veteran every day. And in closing, I'd just like to say thank you to Ms. Cassidy for giving me this opportunity. And thank you for all of you for your great reverence during this spot. I don't think I've ever heard a group of 6th through 8th graders be any more quieter inside the gym. So I appreciate that. So I'd like to just say thank you to all of you. Thank you.
Several of our students wrote poems or essays dedicated to our servicemen and women. Some of those were on the tables in the cafeteria this morning for our veterans to read. At this time, we would like to invite Aiden Gregory to read his poem, A True American Hero, and then Claire Akins will read her essay, What Makes a Hero.
What makes a hero, some might ask, is it their jump shot, home run, or last-second catch? My heroes are those who handle the most difficult tasks, who are boots and camo, not a cape or mask. My family's heroes in generations past served in all world's wars from World War I to Iraq. Young, brave, and fearless from any attack, to fight for our freedoms, not knowing if they'd come back. Today we remember all of those selfless acts and thank them for sacrificing and having our backs. So, what makes a hero, some might still ask? It is our American military, the future, present, and past.
Many people can be considered heroes, but when I think of a hero, I think of a soldier. There are so many traits that can describe a hero, and some of them are surprising too. To start off, I'm going to list some traits that can describe a hero. One trait I think of whenever I think of a hero is brave. I think of heroes being brave because some of them, mostly soldiers, sacrificed their lives while fighting for our country. Another trait I think of is courageous. Most soldiers have to have courage in order to sacrifice their lives every day while fighting for our independence. Lastly, I think of a hero being selfless. Heroes, such as soldiers, sacrifice their lives daily for Americans to have freedom. Soldiers are magnificent people with extraordinary choices and traits. Next, heroes, but mostly soldiers in general, can be grouped into separate categories. One category of soldiers could be a dedicated soldier. To me, dedicated soldiers are people who will stand up for another soldier even if they end up risking their life. Also, another type of soldier could be a strong soldier. Strong soldiers are the ones who fight until the end. Even if they are in unbearable pain, they will still continue to fight. Lastly, I think another type of soldier could be a caring soldier. I think caring soldiers are the ones who will jump in front of another soldier if they see a bullet heading towards them. Overall, soldiers are amazing people who would do anything for our country. Most people don't realize how much sacrifice it takes to be a soldier. First, soldiers are most likely away from their family for years at a time. Also, I think soldiers with children sacrifice the most because they have to be away from their kids and always wonder if their kids are okay. People also don't realize how much sacrifice it takes to be the spouse or child of a soldier. If your spouse is in the military, you are constantly asking yourself if your spouse is wounded or if they will ever come home. If you are the child of a soldier, you are always sad whenever you find out one of your parents are leaving to go serve our country. All in all, soldiers, spouses of soldiers, and children of soldiers all have to make sacrifices. In conclusion, heroes are great people who sacrifice many things every day.
While Veterans Day is a tribute to living veterans, it is still appropriate to include a moment of respect for the fallen. After taps has been played, please remain silent to show respect for those who have given the ultimate sacrifice to our country. Sergeant Christopher Carroll will now play taps.
After the retiring of the colors, please wait to be dismissed. American Legion 113 will now retire the colors. This concludes our Veterans Day Assembly. We would like to thank you students for your good behavior during today's assembly. Thanks to Major Khan and Sergeant Carroll and our choir, the color guard, and all who participated. But we would especially like to thank our honored guests, our veterans today.